Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome to the...
Came from the mud and the trenches, running and hopping the fences.
Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome to the hottest media podcast about Out of the Trenches. I am your host, Ree McLean, and today I'm joined with Addo and Kwame.
Yeah, what's going on, guys?
What are you telling me, man?
Now, since this is the first ever episode, I guess it makes sense for me to say, just to give a brief introduction as to what this podcast is actually about. I just wanted to say our idea is to showcase the progress and success of up-and-coming content creators online. Now, this covers musicians, YouTubers, social influencers, and many more. Now, Adam, who with an online presence would you say you somewhat look up to?
Since I've been kind of growing up, I've really been into music, and especially rap music. So Eminem was one of my biggest idols. Looking at it as he was one of the biggest revolutionary white rapper, and he kind of revolutionized that kind of thing of you can't rap if you're white. It has to be, because most before the 2000s, in the start of the 2000s, most rappers were essentially black.
Yeah.
And they were looked at as the good rappers, and people with a different skin color, they weren't looked at as that successful and that that at that level. It was different levels.
Yeah.
So people say that he's one of the most successful musical artists of the 21st century, which I would agree with.
Is he though? Is he?
Yeah, I think so. I do.
Century, that's a bit debatable, I think. Come on. There's people like Stormzy who have come from nowhere to probably three artists dominate the UK scene. J Hus, Stormzy, Dave. Those are the three coming up from nowhere to somewhere.
Yeah, but I would say that Eminem is the same. He did come from essentially the Detroit ghetto. He came and he built himself up, and he made a big name for himself. Essentially, if you ask anyone on the street, they'll know who Eminem is. And he has made music that has changed how rap is looked at. Because literally his lyrics are more when he was smaller, he made little paragraphs of stories.
Yeah.
But then he tried to change out words so it rhymes. It might have made sense, but it rhymed and it sounded good and everything. And in between the little goofy words that just kind of rhymed and sounded good, he had the deep meaning and everything, and people liked that, and people tried to started listening to that.
Just quickly, I just wanted to add, I actually watched an Eminem interview, and there was a scene, and someone said Eminem was going on about how it annoyed him and people say there was no word that rhymed with orange, and he gave a little, he was literally there, he was freestyling words that rhymed with orange, and it inspired me. But yeah, I just wanted to throw it in there.
Is it actually not a word that rhymes with orange?
Apparently so, but he proved it wrong.
Yes. That's the thing with Eminem. That's why he's really good at freestyling as well, and that's why on shows they're getting asked, they're asking him to do freestyles.
Yeah.
He's really good at matching words and trying to make them rhyme, and it sounds really good. Sometimes it sounds goofy, but then when he thinks about it, he makes a song or an EP or something like that.
Yeah.
He actually thinks about it, puts in the meaning, while also applying that kind of Slim Shady kind of thing. So making it the little chickadee and things like that. Yeah.
He's branded himself really well.
He's made this persona Slim Shady, for example, to be able to talk about things that he wouldn't be comfortable talking about.
Yeah.
Kind of violence and things like that. He involves that into his music while actually trying to say to people, right, this is not me. This is a persona of me.
Yeah.
And I'm not. I don't actually mean it, but I'm trying to make music about every single thing, and trying to make music about deeper topics that people wouldn't actually be comfortable talking about.
Yeah.
And that's why people actually look up to Eminem, and that's why people actually consider Eminem the most successful person in the 21st century, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still debatable, but say nothing.
All right. But obviously, I would really consider Eminem worthy kind of for this podcast.
Yeah.
Because it's really, if you look at 8 Mile, for example, he made he started in 8 Mile creating like fictional character essentially based on like his life story and how he kind of like made himself big and how he kind of like grew.
Yeah.
He mostly based that movie on obviously rap battles and everything like that to show like how he kind of started with them kind of shows and things like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, because that's how he started actually rapping and getting into these kind of stuff by signing up to rap battles essentially with his friends, like sneaking into different high schools, like doing rap battles with different people, and that's how he like put a name out there.
Yeah.
I believe he like done national rap battle, which he placed second in.
Oh, okay.
And that is how he got pushed forward to Dr. Dre, and that's how he met with Dr. Dre, and that's how he got signed to his label essentially, and that's how everything started basically. Because when he got put to his label, that's when he exploded, and that's when he started putting out music that people thought it was revolutionary, and people thought it was different.
Yeah, yeah.
And obviously, like, it wasn't that easy for him, because rap battles, they were fun, and he was really good at them, especially because he was really good at rhyming and making freestyles, and that's why he really got into rap battles and everything like that. And that's why in his music he really likes doing like fast-paced kind of raps with like goofy things with the meaning.
Exactly. You can definitely hear the influence from rap battles.
But when he started, it didn't really always like go the way he planned it.
Oh.
Like his first album, like Infinite, wasn't a really big. It wasn't a success, and people didn't like it. People hated it, and that was his first kind of like big thing that he pushed forward and tried to do.
Yeah.
To actually like put the same name out and like put his name out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and he was really disappointed by that, because he tried to create something that he thought the people would like, but they didn't. And that's when he started. He actually had like suicide attempts after that, and he was really depressed after that. But then he kind of got up, and his next kind of albums might have been controversial, but they're like it blew up and people started liking it, and really like that's when he really started getting his name out there.
The thing is, that's why it is a lot nowadays as well. Controversy. Well, I guess it's the whole idea of any publicity is good publicity sort of thing, and controversy essentially it sells anyway. You know, you're gonna get streams, and you're gonna get if your song sparks mixed opinions, or your project sparks mixed opinions, then people are gonna talk about it, and that's how you get plays. So fair enough, man.
Yeah, that's the thing. He was trying to get out there and see like how people like his music. Because in the rap battles, he did realise that he was good. Because people out there, especially like with the bigger ones, like the national one I talked about, like there was a big audience. And when he like seen that the people might actually like what he's actually doing, that's when he was like, I might actually have to push this. I have to push this out, and I have to like express my music to other people to see like all over the world. And that was his best decisions ever.
Yeah.
Because when he actually put himself out there, that's when people started realizing that, oh, he actually is a really good artist, and he actually can produce like really good music.
Yeah.
But like, obviously, it wasn't that easy for him, because that's what we're trying to talk about in this podcast, is how like it's not that easy to put yourself out there. Because it might just be like a little confidence thing, but if you think about it, he's been growing up in the worst parts of Detroit, being one of like the few whitest people in there in his area, in the kind of ghetto kind of area, and he's got bullied. He's been bullied by like all of his surrounding like people, like all the different races and everything, especially like the black community and the gangs. He got really like bullied out there, and like looking at it after like obviously his dad left him, and his mum, he couldn't really look at his mum as a role model, because he always had to kind of like go and like support his family and work for them, kind of like that's why. And he never was good at education, that's why he tried to like pursue like music, and that's why he tried to like express like how like his talent in music.
Exactly.
Because when he was in school, he felt like he wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
That's why in ninth grade, I believe, he failed 3 times. And after that,
wow.
he was like, yeah, I need to drop out. I need to do what I need to do. And then he got into work. He started working at hot dog place.
Yeah.
So he started selling hot dogs for around probably like minimal wage.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Continue.
So
Oh, it's just the hot dogs made me kind of hungry.
yeah, you have to do what you have to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because he didn't have any like sort of like money to support him.
Yeah.
Because his mum was working for minimal wage as well. They were barely able to afford rent. So they were like living in caravan park to caravan park. They couldn't afford sometimes to pay the rent.
Yeah.
And that was why he tried to like push himself and feel sometimes working 60 hours a week to like kind of like get out there and then started doing music on the side, and that's when he was like, oh, I had enough of this. I'm gonna use my actual talent and actually get out there.
Get you somewhere, yeah.
Yeah, because that doesn't get you anywhere. It's just you're like stuck in a black hole.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about, people.
Yeah.
Obviously, Eminem's come out of the trenches, and you've seen that, as Adam just said, like he's
Of
come
course,
from
yeah.
a space where, he wasn't doing the best in life in general. Obviously, he had a parent run away and whatnot, and it's just, he's made something of himself. So, yeah. So, Kwame, what about you? Is there anybody because we're talking about people that have come and made it online, or they have an online presence, is there anybody that you kind of look up to or you're inspired by?
I think Dave is a good one because that guy's come from tough. Like, the guy comes from a Nigerian house of African descent. It's not hard. No, I mean, it's hard in London, growing up black in London, to grow up and try and make it because your parents know crazy. But it's hard because, like, coming to the country, trying to make sure that your children grow, it's hard. Like, he's brought 2 brothers put in prison. And, like, growing up, like, I think he was 14. So that's hard. Like, he makes songs that are inspirational to the youth, different races. Like, he tries to make songs, hip hop and that, but sometimes he tries to make songs like he did a song with Black, showing that Black is just deeper than just what people see on TV. People struggling in Africa.
Yeah.
Like, he tries to show that in, like, black people, basically British rap is basically majority black, like black culture coming from
So basically he's trying to like say like, because he didn't have the support as like his brothers got like imprisoned when he was 14, did you say? Yeah, so he didn't have the support, obviously, so he's trying to provide the support to like other black people out there and trying to say that
showing them
it's worthy to, like, it doesn't, you're not worthless if you're black, and you have to be proud of it.
Like, there's certain people like in history, like Michael Jackson, they don't know their skin. He's trying to show that it doesn't matter. You're like that because God made you like that. Yeah, you got more to offer. Like, certain songs, he even talks about suicide in some of his songs. I think one of his songs called Cycle, he talks about suicide. It doesn't stop the pain and stuff like that. It just ruins the lives of people around you. Like, like, I think he was in, I think he went to Montfort University, and I think he wanted to study law. He studied law, but eventually he started skipping. And then wanted to focus on his music career because he saw that wasn't him. And other artists like J Hus, he got kicked out of school as well. Yeah, he got expelled. Like, the his name J Hus. They used to call him a hustler because like, I think he said it was like because he used to buy donuts and sell them to people. Like,
So he was trying to like make a little business essentially.
Actually, that's what I used to do. Actually, I used to go Tesco, get some Tesco donuts. No, you know the Krispy Kreme boxes.
Yeah.
I used to get the Krispy Kreme boxes. Go to the other side of Tesco, get £1 donuts, like 4 in a pack, Put them in the Krispy Kreme donut box and say the Krispy Kreme will sell them for £3.
Wow.
Hustling.
Yeah, because sometimes it's just hard to like trying to like, because when you're like around this age, it's hard to actually get employment because some people don't like look at you as worthy.
Yeah.
So you have to like follow, like get your passion and like look into it and actually like say, all right, this is what I want to do.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. While we're on the topic of just people coming up, well, that is what the podcast is about. But I just wanted to mention someone called, well, two people actually, Nick Mira and Taz Taylor. They formed, well, Taz Taylor's the founder. He formed a collective, which is now a record label called Internet Money Records. And it's very inspiring because I'm also a musician. So seeing Nick Mira and Taz Taylor are both music producers, and they started off creating content for YouTube. So what they would do is they would create beats, and then they would, Taz Taylor actually used to be a graphic designer. So in terms of content and visually, it was, appealing, and that's how he gained his following online.
So it really inspires you then. So
Yeah.
it really tries to like, when you look at them, you really get inspired and see like, all right, I can do that. I can actually like get out there and do the same thing and like put my name out there and
100%.
become like one of the biggest producers.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah, and it's crazy because in terms of coming out, like coming from the trenches, Taz was in bands since the age of 11, and he only started taking music production seriously when he was 17 because his mum got cancer, and because he needed money, he thought, I need to kind of step up and become the man of the house, and how am I going to do this? I might as well try and find money in my passion, what I like doing. So that's basically what he ended up doing, and to this day him and his team Internet Money have produced for a lot of big artists in the music industry like Gucci Mane, Designer, 6ix9ine, Juice WRLD, the list goes on. But
So really big names.
exactly, yeah. And they actually funny, they rent out this massive mansion in LA called the Internet Money Mansion, and it's about, I think it's 6 or 7 of them, and they literally just live in this massive house.
So they
Taz
can
Taylor-
like literally like inspire each other and like
Yeah.
it's a big like kind of creative environment for them
Exactly.
to like kind of like work together and
bounce
essentially
ideas
like
off of
bounce
each other.
ideas. Yeah. Essentially.
That's what you need, really, I think, as well. So yeah, and currently the Internet Money channel has over 340,000 subscribers on YouTube, and they have a total of 539 videos, which are mostly kind of production, like tutorials for music production. So they, for example, how to make a certain artist type beat, and they get paid from that as well. So I just, it's inspiring to see what they do, and they've obviously they've made a success for themselves. So yeah,
literally that's all it's about. Like,
exactly.
because all these people on this podcast are essentially just getting out there and try and like follow their passion and like try to make a name for themselves in the industry.
Yeah,
And they do that really well because they have a really, really, really burning passion for it.
yeah,
And they really want it. And that's the thing. You gotta want something to actually succeed.
exactly.
Yeah, you just have to push yourself out there and just do it. Not just sit there and say, I'm never gonna get big. What's the point of actually like starting it?
Exactly.
If you have the passion and if you feel like if you have a view, if you see like, all right, I'm gonna do this, and you do it, then you can get anywhere.
Yeah, it's the best mentality to have, man.
Yeah. Yeah. So, essentially, this podcast idea like came from us like talking about like how YouTubers have essentially came from nowhere to becoming like huge internet personas and huge like idols for different people around the world.
Yeah.
And like gaining like followers up to like 100,000, which like this Swedish guy, you probably familiar with it, but his name is PewDiePie. PewDiePie, yeah, that's it.
Of course. No, he's.
Of course, he's one of the biggest internet personas.
Yeah.
I want to slap that guy.
Yeah, obviously he's really controversial, but he had, for example, he had a passion when he was growing up for games and games design.
Yeah.
So what he has done, it's not proud to say, but he essentially like skipped classes to play games, and
Really?
that was his passion.
Yeah.
He said, all right, there's no point of me actually getting in class because he wasn't that into education. He wasn't bad at it, but he didn't prefer it.
interest him.
Yeah, it didn't interest him. So when he started his YouTube channel, he was still in university, and he was obviously in a student loan
Yeah.
for like probably like the first decade of his life, because most student loans last for probably like all of your life.
Yeah.
It's a lifetime, because if you don't have the money, you won't be able to pay it off.
Exactly.
So he said, all right, I'm not good at this, and I don't feel like I should like actually pursue this and do this, because he wasn't interested in education. He couldn't see himself for the next couple of years finishing uni.
Yeah.
So what he said, he started a YouTube channel in 2010, and and he wasn't able to like afford like a good computer which he could like record like good footage in or whatever, but he still done it. He was a Swedish guy which was like really like key, because it was really hard for him to get himself out there, because obviously like there's a limited amount of people that speak Swedish.
Yeah.
So you know, when if you start like a YouTube channel with like talking Swedish and essentially like basing it like in Swedish, you know, it like already reduces your limit. Yeah, it just gives you a limit. It gives you a cap.
Yeah.
And it doesn't allow you to pursue like what you love.
Yeah.
So what he decided doing, he started his YouTube channel and started making videos in English.
So at that point, when he started I'm not sure if you know, but when he started his YouTube channel, did he know how to speak English, or did he learn English?
He obviously learned English in school, and kind of like he knew how to speak English.
Yeah.
But the first couple of videos, obviously he just done like Swedish, and obviously like the first couple of videos for everyone, it's like kind of like a scrappy little footage that you record, but then eventually he started thinking about it. It was like, I'm not gonna be able to make a name for himself if he doesn't like start like doing it in English and making it in a language that most people can understand.
Yeah.
So he decided to actually do it in English, and
Wait. PewDiePie is Swedish.
yes, he's Swedish.
I thought he was English.
No, he's Swedish.
I mean American.
No, he's Swedish.
Why does he have an American accent then?
Because he lived in America for a little while. He lived in loads of places for. I believe he lives in the UK as of now.
Rah, I feel
But-
like egg now.
But I'm not sure. He lived in loads of places, especially like America as well.
Yeah.
Like probably most people have that dream of like going out to America and then pursuing like whatever they want to pursue.
Exactly.
And like obviously for you want to like go out to America, LA, be a big producer and like produce like big songs for big artists.
That's the goal, man.
And that's the goal for most people. And he tried that, but he realized that place doesn't change anything. And at that point, he was already like he had the finances and everything to like do it. So he moved back to England. I think he moved to England, and then I think he's settled there now.
Yeah.
But I'm not 100% sure. But he moved to loads of places to experiment and see like where he's most comfortable at. Like obviously like Sweden would be like the most like comfortable place for him to be in, because that's his essentially
This
like
is hometown.
hometown,
Yeah,
home
it's where
country,
he's
like
from,
yeah, this is where it's from.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that's how he
That's just his come up essentially.
essentially.
And, just bouncing off of what you were saying, because we're on the topic of YouTubers, one person who also inspires me, or I just like the way I like his come up, because I have been watching him since before. I mean, he was popular, but he wasn't as famous as he was now. KSI. Now, KSI is he's got a character, and he said this in multiple interviews. He said, I think someone must have asked him, why are you the way you are, and like how have you come up, basically? And he said when he was making YouTube videos, there was a lot of other people also trying to pursue that same dream of, oh, I want to be a YouTuber. And he said the thing that he focused on was his character. So yes, he was playing FIFA, but it wasn't just another random kid playing FIFA. He also, you know, he had that character of the guy that doesn't really care, and you know, he was very loud.
And that's the thing that kind of like caused him like controversy as well.
Exactly.
Like later on,
yeah,
of him like being really like broad and like trying to like express himself, like, and try to say things that other people wouldn't like actually say.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they think about it and they're like, oh, that's something that I'm gonna get like hate for it, and people are gonna look at me and say, he's not a guy that I would like hang around with.
Yeah.
But he had confidence in himself, and he actually pushed himself out there, didn't he?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know, you can just tell he's got an attitude where he doesn't really care. But I guess for his case, it's good because you know he has been very successful, and there's different parts to him.
I feel like how he's come from just raging on FIFA, smacking his controller, beating up his brother, to boxing, making films, making music.
Yeah, that's the point essentially. Like all this podcast is all about like how people have made a name for themselves from nothing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And how like they can like do anything if they put their mind to it.
Exactly.
Because he already made a big name for himself by just playing FIFA, and then that big audience could be used to like expand and do whatever he likes.
Yeah.
So then he was like, actually, yeah, I like making music.
Mm-hmm.
So he did put himself out there and say,
Get hyper.
Yeah,
Get hyper. It's a classic.
Yeah, he did say, all right, I'm gonna. Yeah, he did say, he was like, all right, if people don't like it, they don't like it.
Yeah.
But I've got a big audience, and I would like to share like one of in his opinion, a talent.
Yeah, totally.
So he wanted to share it and see how people reacted, and obviously he got like different kind of opinions, but he's seen that positive kind of like side of it, and he was like, yeah, I'm gonna start like doing that.
Yeah.
For later on, and then obviously he got into boxing and whatsoever, like everything.
Yeah. But like something like obviously Kwame mentioned Get Hyper.
Yeah.
Like that's a classic one of his, but as of more recent, he's done, you know, because he's signed to a label now, so that kind of gives him access to, you know, bigger features, and he's got a song called
Absolutely.
More connections.
Exactly.
With artists.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. He's made songs with Rick Ross, JME, Lil Baby, all of these big artists, and you got to remember, you didn't start off as a musician. You started off as an online content creator.
Yeah.
So to think like, I don't know, it just still baffles my mind to this day. But he's come from, like Kwame said, just raging on FIFA and beating up his brother, and now he's beating up people in the actual boxing ring, which is what I was gonna go into. He's also a boxer as well. So
yeah.
On August 25th of 2018, he had a fight with Logan Paul. He had a fight with Joe Weller before that, but the Logan fight was
he got more hype.
Bigger.
But essentially, if you think about it, like how like the actual like boxing started, literally it was a YouTube video comment that he like put out there.
Yeah.
It was like, all right, I think it was something like, I'll fight the winner on Joe Weller's video, saying about, all right, whoever wins, I'll fight him.
Yeah.
And they made it happen. And obviously, like, KSR having, like, a really big fan base. And then eventually, like, the big beef that started coming, like, after that.
Yeah.
They made, like, a really, really big event. And making it, like, sort out an arena.
Yeah.
Made it, like, an actual pro fight. It looked like an actual pro fight. Obviously, like, with amateur rules and everything, with head guards and things like that. But, like, it was as popular as a pro fight.
Exactly.
And that's why, like, after with the Logan Paul fight, they were able to sell out a big arena again.
Yeah, exactly. Because on that match he drew, and then on the 9th of November 2019, they also fought again, and that's when he won. But prior to the second fight, he actually also released a documentary called Can't Lose. And Can't Lose was just about him and the fact that he cannot lose. And he proved himself, you know, in the second fight he won. He also has a brother called Deji, and he was an undercard for the second fight, and he fought Logan's brother. Yeah, because so it was almost like a brotherly battle.
Yeah, because that's the thing about JJ.
JJ lost for the second fight.
Yeah, because that's the thing about like JJ. He's really like dedicated, and whatever he puts his mind to, he'll do it.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. That's the mentality that people like these kind of like upcoming creators have to have.
Yeah.
to make it in whatever scene they want to make it, like the music scene, YouTube, whatever.
Yeah.
They just have to put their mind to it and have like a really strong belief in what they're doing
Yeah.
to actually make it.
Exactly.
Yeah, because after that with the Logan Paul rematch,
Yeah.
Eddie Hearn, the
Boxing promoter.
boxing promoter, the CEO of Matchroom Boxing,
Mm-hmm.
he was sitting there. He promotes like big fights for Anthony Joshua, like big heavyweights, like big champions around the
Yeah.
world. He promotes like all of the pro fights that all of the pro fights essentially.
Yeah.
So he was sitting there for the first fight, and he was like, "This is a joke. This is a joke. I can't. Two YouTubers fighting.
Yeah.
Two YouTubers fighting. What are they doing? They're just like." And he seen it. He watched it and he was like, "Look, it's all at an arena. It was an actual good. It wasn't a bad fight."
Yeah.
And it was like, I could be making money off of it. This could be a big event.
Exactly.
And he looked into it and he was like, these guys are not messing around. So he was like, all right, I'll do the whole promotion. Let's make this a pro fight.
Mm-hmm.
And they did.
He did. Yeah, he did.
And they made it a pro fight. They had a pro debut.
Debut. Yeah.
That's it. And then, literally, to actually think of it as like two YouTubers fighting
Yeah.
in a pro boxing match, promoted by the biggest promotion company, and streamed on the biggest sites like The Zone and things like that, and Sky Sports, which is like
Exactly.
one of the biggest sports sites in the UK.
Yeah.
It's mental.
I know they had people betting on Sky Sports. Like I saw a couple of angry tweets, and they were like,
Yeah.
"Yo, you made me lose money." Like,
Yeah, this is mental. Like, for example, like I believe JJ's friend Miniminter,
yeah,
he betted like £1,000. That's how serious they are.
yeah,
They're like, they know that how like if he puts his mind to it, JJ will do it.
exactly.
So they were willing to put that amount of money on like him winning, and they did because that's what like makes JJ like a really really big YouTuber
Yeah,
and really big internet persona, and that's why it makes him like a big idol to loads of
Yeah.
people, because he doesn't give up.
he doesn't.
Yeah, he just strives forward and does what he has to do.
Yeah, and that's shown. You know, in 2011, he received a 100,000 subscriber silver play button. A year later, in 2012, he received a 1 million gold play button, and then in 2015, 3 years later, he received a 10 million platinum play button. So it's crazy to see like how far he's come, and he's, you know, like I said, he's dedicated. So
Yeah.
once he puts his mind to something, he will get there.
Yeah, essentially.
Thank you guys for listening to Out of the Trenches, where we talk about the progression and the come up of up and coming content creators. Obviously, I bugged with mine a little, but it doesn't matter because
It's fine. This is a progression, and we're progressing. We're trying to
Exactly.
put ourselves out there.
We're real.
Yeah, we're real.
100%.
That's it. You just have to come out there and watch the next episode, which comes out whenever.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Keep you guys updated. If
Keep you guys
follow
updated.
Our social media handles, Out of the Trenches on Instagram, at Old Trenches on Twitter. Then you should receive updates on if we do release a second episode. You should be notified when.
Yeah, we'd love to see all the feedback. So go on
subscribe to
there.
Maximus Studios.
Yeah, go on there. Go on there. Support us and like give us feedback on how you felt the podcast went.
Yep.
And look out for the next episode, guys.
100%.
All right, Out of the Trenches out.
Peace.
Hold it.